I have learned the expression, that's so LA. No, you have to say it differently. That's so LA. Tags: perfectionism, failure, obsession with it, fear of, etc. I suppose that the lessons that I've learned in LA while I've been here this time is a closer look this time than, how many years ago was that? Let's see, that was probably about 15 years ago when I was here last. The lessons I've learned this time: a lot of patience. It's been Mercury retrograde. There were many hiccups. LA traffic or congestion has definitely taught me a lot of patience as well. But a careful reminder, I think, an enlightening reminder, I suppose, about that's been coming through from this trip to LA, especially at this point where I'm gonna depart for about week and a half till I come back for just a day and then leave and continue on this whole crazy journey through the rest of California on my way to Colorado. Is we see the finished product, the byproduct of creativity, of a masterpiece, all of this. I have to move this chair over. And I'm not going to edit this. I'm not going to make it perfect. I'm going to go along with this experiment of just uploading, of rolling with the punches, because I just don't have the capacity to be making things perfect and editing them. I can make a pretty good production. I know that I can, but do I always have the strings to? Not all the time, and it can hold us back, actually. And what I've known over the years is that some people, not all, enjoy the amateur. There is beauty to the amateur of things. But anyway, the lesson that I've learned this time in LA is this reminder how do I put this to words? Okay. Creativity is often about making something out of nothing, making something that the presentation looks beautiful, it's breathtaking, it's inspiring, all of this, when at the end of the day, sometimes it is only paste. It is just fabricated. We make this illusion, and this is really what Hollywood is all about. You know, you come to these people come to this city with all of these projections and ideas of what they're going to become and what they're going to bring. And they do bring their creative energy here, right? They bring all these desires, all of this. And what do they become here? We don't know. I'm not going to finish that sentence because it's different for everyone, right? But I had thought really again of that song Californication and had a good look at the lyrics, and I thought, oh wow, okay, I get it. This is such a, it's a massive city. I didn't realize how big Los Angeles is. Much bigger than Miami and much more, I think I have to look this up, but the square mileage, how that compares to New York City, they're very different from each other. But you've got all of these different hubs, these different areas going on, right? And you've got people who are making more money than a lot of people, right? Mixed in with the possibly the, I don't know, I think this is the largest homeless population. I mean, they sent them all down here to Skid Row, and there's just blocks like of heaps of trash here. Heaps of it. I'm from Miami originally, and we definitely have homeless. A lot of homeless come down to Florida, or we attract it because I think also the warm climate is, it can be a little bit easier in some cases on people than having to deal with winter, right? But this polarities here, right? And I thought really though of this message of sometimes creativity is sort of, I don't want to say pulling the wool over someone's eyes, but it is like a trompe-l'oeil, as they say, in this is an art history term, right? A trompe-l'oeil is sort of like you might see a painting that has, it's like an illusion, a trick to the eyes. It might, the painter might have painted coving, or the word I'm looking for, I can't even remember these terms sometimes. They painted like a gold trim, and it looks like, it gives it a dimension that there's like a sconcing. I'll just have to, I wish I would insert a picture. You know what, I'm not going to. You can Google it. Dare I say. But a lot of times this is what creativity is about. And some people can get very upset about this, that it's not real and all of this, but it's like, well, you were believing in this 5 minutes ago. Does that make it less real? A lot of it is about our belief, okay? And that's what's inspiring to me always about creativity, is to pursue really on the path of creativity as a creative person, or someone who wants to be creative. We have to be allowing ourselves and others suspension of disbelief, as it's called in theater, right? And this means that, you know, you might sit, let's say you go to the theater and you sit next to someone and they're not into how that stage doesn't, that way that they constructed this doesn't even look real. Oh my gosh. And it's like, whoa, this performance was great. You have to be willing to say, okay, yeah, that's this room and it's like this. They're not gonna pull off this whole production where everything looks identical to that actual setting when they need to be switching things around really fast between sets, right? Between scenes. So suspension of disbelief is really quite necessary, especially in theater. And there's a certain level of fun to that, okay? And I'm gonna bring this to this next note of something such as like going to a burn, right? You know, you maybe have heard of Burning Man. There's also smaller regional burns that follow the same principles as Burning Man. It's just not as massive as Burning Man. It doesn't get all of the attention of Burning Man, but these burns, right? At the heart of it is this creativity, right? Apart from the principles, and that is in the principles. Creativity, and it's often just constructed out of nothing. And I've joked about this to people when I've been at burns. I said this last time at Love Burn. I was like, you know, when you walk around the burn in the middle of the day before the lights go out, before the sun sets, and it looks so fantastic, and everybody's got their flow toys, and all of the art is illuminated and lit up. In the middle of the day, it kind of looks a little bit like a bunch of trash. And my brother, I said this to my brother, and he starts laughing, and he's like, yeah, it kind of does. And that might seem so insulting to some, but it's not. I love the paradox of that. I enjoy that, and I need to remind myself that as a creative person. Because I've really held myself back the last few months. I've gone on another just massive journey throughout California since I left Washington in December. I've seen so many things, and I was working along the way on different forms of branding for this, whatever it is I'm trying to become, whatever I'm not trying to become, whatever I'm trying to build here, but there's many things that I can become because I have many pursuits, many passions, right? And to fuse them all together has been a challenge because I'm aware that in order to grow an audience, you have to niche down. It's best to. I've done this before in other business. And there's something very worthwhile about niching down. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I'll put a pin in it there. I know the importance of these things. I know the importance of having a strong brand that all has these different elements, but that are cohesive instead of something that's all over the place. And I think I'm just going to have to upload this as is and see what comes through without continuously trying to edit myself. Because this is exactly what Julia Cameron is saying in The Artist's Way. I'd have to read it out from the book, how she phrases it, but this is in the segments on perfectionism. Perfectionism, it erases the same line over and over again till there's a rip in the page. That perfectionism, it doesn't allow practice shots. It compares to the masters when we're just a beginner, novice. We'll never get really anywhere far if we continue to let it be the director of the show. And if there is something about, some of the coolest people that I worked with who are directors, there can be very abusive directors out there, as we've probably known or heard about or worked with before. But the best ones that I've worked with, they're willing to see that there's something that can come out of the mistakes and working with those. And here's the thing, is that it's very difficult to make a spontaneous mistake up that actually works and it delivers something realistic to the audience or the viewers, right? Those mistakes, those clumsiness, those acts of clumsiness, they happen on accident. They happen when we're just in the moment. And there's a beauty in that, right? This is why in my past, as a burlesque dancer, one of my characters was a clown, and I loved the clown because it gave me a sense of security that no matter how poor my performance was in certain areas, everyone would be like, oh, she's a clown, whatever. So it gave me a little bit of an excuse to, maybe I had practiced this routine, but if I flubbed up, it was like, oh, haha, oh, she's a clown. So yeah, that's where we'll leave it at. I think his sweet spot is his 13 minutes here. I'm later going along the journey towards Anza Borrego. I was recommended this area by a couple people, a couple friends, one of my soul brothers. And after that, I'm going to attempt to go to Slab City and Bombay Beach, and we'll see what happens. And then I'm hitting it back over to San Diego, well, this year, and then back up to LA to visit my little cousin for a day. And then I'm heading through to 29 Pines and Joshua Tree. Definitely going to the date farm on the way. Bautista family date farms. Can't wait to pick up a massive bag of dates and enjoy it all the way towards my journey to Colorado. Yes, we'll leave it there. This is Juniper here. I hope that you're having a lovely day, and if not, try to find the lesson in that. If you've got to sit in your shit for a bit, so be it. Okay, don't wallow too long. You might need to give yourself a good cleaning after, but don't suppress it. If you need to sit in it, sit in it. And know that you're not alone, you're never alone. I extend my love to you, and a little bit of joy actually in my heart for being here with me and listening along. And comment below. I'd love to hear just anything that piques your interest. If you've got questions, post them down below, and I'll try my best to either type out or make a whole reaction video. I don't know, we'll see. That's a little bit, that's high aiming on the achievement skill right there. We're gonna work with these low level embracing of failure here, okay? Enjoy your day, night, evening, wherever you are.